Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. This is a 15-minute flow. It's for your hips. So we are going to get started on our backs. My name is Shelby, by the way, and enjoy. All right, so come on down and take your feet as wide as your mat. Lean your knees in towards one another. And then rest your hands wherever they feel comfortable. So some people like to place their hands like directly on their belly. You could take your arms out wide, especially if you're like, I also need a little reprieve for my shoulders. Or one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart if you need this to be more of a grounding practice. And we're going to start with a few moments of stillness. So with your eyes closed, as long as that feels comfortable, begin to take a big breath in through your nose. And then begin to breathe out through your nose. And just notice how that feels. If it feels like choppy, if it feels blocked up, just acknowledge that. We've got another one coming. Take a big breath in. And then bring more awareness to your exhale as you start to breathe out through your nose. And this last one, you're going to breathe out through your mouth. Inhale. Now open your mouth and sigh out. On your next inhale, begin to stretch your arms out to a T, and then press the backs of your hands into the mat so that you can start to feel a slight stretch or maybe a major stretch through the shoulders and the chest. Flex your feet. Turn your toes to the left and let your knees fall to the left. So it doesn't even need to be like super dramatic, like pivot. We just want the knees and the toes pointing in the same direction. Inhale, bring your knees to center. Turn your toes to the right and drop the knees to the right. Again, through center, turn those toes. So just starting to pivot the feet and seeing how that changes the sensation in these postures. Inhale to center, turn the toes to the right, and let the knees fall. And one more time to the center. Let's go to the left and then stretch that right knee down. Inhale to center. Exhale and try to press the inside of the left knee down to get that stretch. Inhale to center. All right, go ahead and bring your knees into your chest and just gently point your toes and begin to gently rock on your back. So it's like a gentle rock from side to side, just to massage out your lower back. Begin to tip your chin towards your chest and then scoop up the backs of your legs. And as you scoop up the backs of your legs, your ankles may naturally cross to allow the hips to open slightly. Let the ankles cross, flexing the feet. Start to lift your head up off of the ground and your shoulders, and just take a couple rocks and rolls. So when you come up to that seat, maybe hold for a moment, start to work those core muscles, just allow them to turn on. And then on that third one, we're gonna come up to your seat cross-legged. You can roll over your knees to tabletop or swing your knees back behind you, especially if you have tender knees or sensitive knees. I encourage you to swing them back instead of rolling over. We're gonna land in tabletop. So shoulders directly over the wrists, index fingers pointing straight in front at like 12 o'clock, and then toes pointing straight back behind you. As you inhale, you're going to tilt your tailbone up and then try to draw your shoulder blades together. And then as you exhale, start to round your lower back first. Then push your hands into the mat, doming your upper back. Inhale, find cow. So take that cow back to tilt the tailbone up, draw the shoulder blades together, maybe even look up. And then exhale, start to round and press away. Inhale, find a neutral spine. And then take your knees just a little bit wider apart. We're gonna take some hip circles here. So your hips are gonna swing to the left and then to the right. Now bring your shoulders forward. Maybe they even come forward of your wrists and back. So you're just creating that circular motion. You're gonna do that again. Option to close your eyes, and as you close your eyes, try to slow the movement down. Just beginning to play with sensation in that edge. Glide back to center and then switch directions. So hips are gonna glide to the right, sink them to the left, come forward, bring your shoulders forward so your wrists and your forearms begin to get a little stretch there. Shoulders forward one more time. Pull those hips back to the left and then glide forward. So now you're just gonna bring your knees in a little bit closer and then tuck your toes. As you tuck your toes, we're gonna hover the knees up off of the mat. Allow the muscles and the outer edges of your hips to turn on and let that heat build a little bit, and then start to pull your hips back. So this downward facing dog does not need to be the most extreme. You can actually add a little bend in those knees. So bend your knees, try to push your butt back, and then press your head, and then let your head hang. And then if and only if it feels okay, you can start to straighten the legs out, maybe one at a time. And that's when you'll start to pedal out your feet. You go ahead and take a big breath in here. And then as you exhale, drop your head. Next inhale, look forward. And then I want you to take your time. So you're just gonna take a little walk up to your hands. And your knees are going to have to bend at some point there, so allow them to bend. And then take your feet wider than your hips. Bend your knees so that your belly presses back to your thighs, like between a wide leg and in a forward fold, and then drop your head. Now take your hands down to the ground. Turn your right toes out, so we're just gonna turn the toes out maybe 20 degrees. Right hand tense, fingertips tent under right shoulder, and you're gonna start to bend into the right knee and look up to the left thumb now. As you exhale, let your left hand come down, turn the right toes in, turn the left toes out, left hand under left shoulder, and start to reach your right arm up. It's a lot of lefts and rights, so if you're like, I've lost you, just look up and switch from side to side. So one more time, right hand down, reach up to the left thumb, or look up, and then exhale, lower down. Left toes out, left hand down, begin to ground through the left fingertips as you reach your right arm high. Exhale, right hand down. All right, let's heel ball toe the feet closer together. So you just kind of inch the feet in. As you inhale, you're going to take a halfway lift. So hands to the shins, extend your chest forward, and then exhale, fold on down. Now round your spine and slowly, and I'm like, go slower than you think you are going. Go even slower than you think you need to go, so you can enjoy that sensation as you roll up. Shoulders stack over your hips. And from here, we're gonna start to reach the arms upward. Slide your hands right to heart center and take your feet a little wider. Inhale, reach your arms up. Look at your right wrist. Hold on to your right wrist with your left hand. Push into the right foot and lean over to the left. Look underneath your right armpits. Inhale, center. Switch sides. Pressing into the left foot, hold on to the left wrist, look underneath your left armpit. And then just notice what your belly is doing here. Can you lift the waist? Inhale, center. And then exhale, hands to heart. Feet a little closer together. Begin to reach your arms up to the sky. And exhale, hinge and fold over your legs. Step back to your high plank position. Stack your shoulders over the wrists. If you're like, no, Shelby, high plank's not there for me, lower your knees down to the ground, that's fine. And then we're gonna glide back and forth on the toes. If you are on the toes, pause, lower your knees down, untuck your toes, lie all the way down to your belly. Okay. So for the shoulders and the hips, take that left arm out to a T, right hand under your right shoulder, bend your right knee and start to open up your hip here. Maybe the right toes tap down, maybe you're up like this. We just want to start to map that movement out in your body. Begin to glide through center. And switch sides, left hand in, right arm out. You roll onto that side, let the left knee bend, open it up. Some of you are gonna tap the toe behind you, others are gonna keep the leg lifted. And then we're gonna glide through center. Take your right hand under your right shoulder, left hand under left shoulder. Pull the sides of your waist back, lift your chest, cinch elbows in as your heart lifts. Exhale and lower down. Tuck your toes. You're going to either from the knees or the toes, pull back to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, mosey on up to those hands. Forward fold over your legs. Feet a little wider apart. Right hand low, right toes out. Begin to reach your left arm up to the sky. Exhale and switch. Left hand down, left toes out. Begin to reach your right arm up into the sky. Exhale and switch. Maybe this time you hop or step your feet together. Inhale, round your spine, roll all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands glide right through heart center. This time we're just gonna add on. You're gonna take your left foot and step it behind the right. Reach your arms up, hold onto your left wrist and lean, push into the right foot. So we work some balance here. Inhale to center, hands to heart center. Right foot behind your left, reach your right arm up and then lean up and over to that left side. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, reach your arms up, lift. Exhale, hinge and fold. Plant the hands down, step your feet back to your high plank position. Lower your knees down, untuck your toes, lie down onto your bellies. Inhale, loop the shoulders back, lift your chest for baby cobra. Exhale and lower down. All right, left hand out, bend your right knee, open your hip, maybe touch the toes down, maybe not. Don't worry about getting that foot to the ground if your hip's not ready yet. Take your right arm out to the side, switch sides. Tuck your chin in, let the left toes tap behind you and glide through center. Hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes. You can lift from the knees or your toes, meet me up in high plank, pull it all the way back, come into downward facing dog. Now bring your feet together at the back of your mat. So you're still in downward dog. You're gonna lift up the right leg back behind you. And then that movement we've been mapping out, we're just gonna add on. Bend your right knee, start to open your right hip. So some people like to say this is like yawning your hip open. So allow that hip to yawn open. Now notice what's happening in your right leg. Is your right heel doing something funky and crazy? Try to pull it back into alignment as you lift the right knee higher, higher, higher. Straighten out that right leg and turn your toes straight down to the ground. Begin to bring your right knee to your chest. So adding in some heat here. We're coming into three-legged high plank, and then you're gonna pull that right leg back. So you're gonna curl the right knee in and pull the right leg back. And one more time, squeeze your right knee into your chest, squeeze it in, and then step the right toes through. And if you're like, Shell, I'm not there yet, grab your ankle, bring it up. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about getting that foot right there. Then start to look forward, melt your left knee down to the ground, untuck your left toes. Inhale, begin to reach your arms up, pull the waistband back. Exhale and plant your hands down to the ground. Inhale, start to straighten out that right leg, flexing your toes. So some of you might be back here, especially if you have tight outer hip IT band region or hamstrings. And then you walk your hands forward. So you just wanna go forward and we're gonna pull back. One more time, glide forward and pull back. All right, pause forward, so bending into the right knee, tuck your left toes, elevate your right knee. We're gonna glide the right leg back to a three-pointed high plank or 4 points. Exhale. Then lower your right foot down, lower your knees down, untuck your toes, lie onto your belly. Elbows hug in by your sides, pressing into the tops of your feet, lift up baby cobra. Exhale and lower down. Tuck your toes, meet me up in a high plank. Exhale, we're gonna hit that other side. So feet together at the back of your mat, drop your head. Think super strong through that right side as your left leg kicks behind you. Kick through your left heel bone, then bend your left knee and open up your left hip. So we want to yawn the hip open and just notice. Just notice what this feels like. Notice where the sensation's going and where you want to back away. Can you breathe into what you're feeling here? Take one more inhale as you yawn that hip open, 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 and then exhale, turn the toes straight down to the ground. Start to squeeze that left knee into your chest. So we're putting in the work here. Bring that knee in and then pull your left leg straight back. You've got 2 more. You can do this. Bring it forward. Pull back, and on that last one, we're gonna bring it forward. Now keep lifting, lifting, lifting as far as you can go, maybe a little farther. Step the left toes down, melt your right knee down to the ground and untuck the right toes. And if you're like, my hands don't come forward, walk them back a little bit. Just try to bring your left knee over your left ankle. Now exhale, start to straighten out the left leg, lifting the left toes up, maybe even spreading the toes here. Exhale, bend into the knees, sink the hips forward. Inhale, pull back. Exhale and bend. And you're gonna do that one more time. Pull back, and bend into your knee. Hands come down under your shoulders, tuck the right toes, elevate the right knee, and then slide your left leg back, maybe 3-legged high plank. Work that connection to your core and your right leg. Lower your left foot down to the ground, glide forward, shoulders over your wrists, untuck your toes, lie all the way down onto your bellies. Inhale, loop your shoulders back, lift your heart, your legs. Exhale and lower down. All right, tuck your toes. Now this time, push back to child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch, knees wide, sink your hips back to your heels and drop your head. Big breath in and a huge breath out. Inhale, gaze, walk your hands back to your knees. We're gonna start to cool down, bringing the knees together. You can step your feet forward, and I'm just gonna show you from the side so you get a better angle. We are going to lower all the way down onto our backs. And you're gonna lift your left leg up. You're gonna cross your left ankle over your right thigh. So we're coming into a reclined pigeon. If you're like, Shell, I need more, come into your sleeping pigeon. You can do that lying down or on your belly. For this variation, we're gonna cross left ankle over the right thigh, and then you're gonna lift your right foot up off the ground. And that can feel like enough. You can stay right here, working that pressure in the hips pushing down, or interlace your hands behind the belly of your right thigh. Now your head may lift here. Try to relax your head back down to the ground. So your arms might be quite taut there, that's fine. Some of you might want a little bit more where you interlace your hands over your shin. And from this position, I encourage you to embellish it. So if you want to gently rock from side to side, you can. And you'll notice that if you kind of swing your weight over to that right side, you can hook your left hip under a little bit more there. We're just going to take one more breath in. Huge breath out. Go ahead and place your right foot down, and then place your left foot down. Now take your feet wide, just like we practiced in the beginning. Flex your feet, let your knees swing from side to side or rock from side to side. And then we're gonna hit the other side for a cool down. Right leg up, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And then just be very intentional about these movements. So we want to push the knee out, push the hips down, and then when you're ready, lift your left foot up. And you're going to feel your core engage there to try to push the hips forward. Then interlace your hands, perhaps. If not, don't worry about it. You can hold on to the leg or lace your fingers over your left shin as you press out. And you'll notice if you're looking up at the video, I adjust my head because to get the best stretch for your upper back, you could gently tuck your chin in and try to squeeze your armpits down to stretch the upper back as well. You can take a gentle rock from side to side here. And if you're like, I just love being here in stillness, do that. Slide back through center, release your left foot down to the ground, and then your right. Feet a little wider apart. Just let your knees fall in towards one another. We're gonna take one more breath in together here. And a huge breath out. I invite you to stay here as long as you need to. If you are moving into the next event of your day, I hope you have a great day. Revisit this video as much as you need to, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much, and have a great day.